Today, let's get right into it and look at the Drone 2 Fight Stick. I'm going to focus on two questions. Is this a good stick for its price point? And who exactly does it appeal to? It came shipped in a little box, and my first impressions were that this stick was going to be a lot smaller than my initial mental picture. I had read the description beforehand, but seeing it in person is always a bit different. Getting it out of the box and taking some measurements, we can confirm that the unit is just over 14 inches in length. This thing is also extremely light, weighing in around that 2.5 pound mark. It also clocks in around that $150 price point on Amazon or after shipping charges from their retail website. As far as aesthetics, it leans into a matte black finish, which will work well to hide fingerprints. However, it is fairly simple compared to some of their previous gen honeycomb patterns. Hard installs are also out unless you want to do a vinyl wrap. On the upside, this does have a fair amount of wrist space for something so small. As for the layout, the Drone 2 has defaulted to the Vuelich standard, refusing to embrace anything more ergonomic this generation of sticks. I guess that it's a safe bet, but in 2023 I wish more thought was going into layouts. I had wrongly assumed that they would make use of their gravity buttons or one of their own branded levers, but see that they have gone with B30 buttons and an OV7 Omron switch joystick. Here's a sound check on the buttons and the lever. Neither feel terrible, but definitely not as strong as some of their other component offerings. As far as features go, the Drone 2 does have a 3.5mm microphone input, which is a nice inclusion. It also offers a PS5, PS4, and PC switch, as well as touchpad functionality. And on the bottom here, there are 4 little squares of 1-inch traction. You can change the ball top without opening up the back, so that's nice. But for everything else, we're going to have to pull out the 6 screws. So let's void the warranty and open this bad boy up. Regarding modability, you can replace the buttons easily enough, but as you'd expect, there's very little internal space. Even less than you'd think, so trying to install an extra button for SF6 macro features will be a very difficult mod. Like I mentioned earlier, I was a bit surprised to see that they didn't utilize one of their in-house joystick models. When we take it apart, we can see that they are using OV7 Omron switches. It feels fine in play, but you should be able to replace it easily enough if you find it not to your liking. I'm so used to heavier fight sticks that the 2 pounds of this unit felt very strange for me. That would likely go away in time, and if you have no fight stick background, then it would likely be a non-issue. But if you're a bigger person or you get more aggressive with your churning and your presses, you might want to factor that into your decision to buy. Regarding the buttons, I did have one issue during my time playing. The medium kick button did stick down once. It popped back up after an extra press or two, but I would have been livid if this had happened during an important match. Maybe I just need more hours on it to break it in further, but that's not something I've ever had to do with any other stick I've owned. So who exactly does this stick appeal to? My last video had me assembling a $300 joystick lever, so obviously I don't fit their budget-minded buyer, but I'm still trying to keep this review as objective as I can. According to their website, they are targeting people who are first-time buyers and people who travel. To the people who are hung up on the money, I can see the allure, but only until you stop to really think about it. Maybe you don't know if you want a fight stick, so this seems like a cheaper entry-level no-brainer. Buy the stick, try it out, and if you love it, you got yourself a stick. If you don't, then you don't lose that much money. I see this all the time as budget justification on our fight sticks, but I don't really like this thought process. If you buy the cheapest option and decide you love the idea of playing on fight sticks, then you're less likely to remain happy with your bare minimum purchase. You'll wish you had a better one, or at least one that's easier to mod and personalize. Now you'll have to spend more money on a better base model or dump more money into upgrades. I'm of the mind that you should just get something worth it from the very start. Mid to higher end sticks retain their value fairly well, so even if you decide you hate fight sticks, I'll still bet that you'll have an easier time getting a better percentage of your money back if you sell it on the used market. Look at the used price of something like an Obsidian compared to the original drone. To the people who want something small and portable, I would actually look beyond a fight stick and into the realm of all-button controllers. The latter can be much smaller since they have embraced that portability element because they have evolved from a keyboard. But fight sticks embody a bit of that old school culture of arcade cabinets, so they always feel a bit off to me when they are this small. Churning butter with your favorite grappler with a stick that only weighs 2.5 pounds sounds like an exercise in frustration. You could grab a full-size model and upgrade the shaft with a Link or EX Groove to easily get it into a backpack carry-on. And now for my final thoughts. I feel the modability potential is mediocre, the layout is standard, and at 2 pounds the whole thing just feels like a toy in my lap. But I could forgive all of that if the price was right, which brings me to the most egregious fault of this stick. It's just too expensive for what it is. I hate this precedent of baby's first fight stick models being leveraged around that $150 price point just because they are PS5 compatible. There are many branded PS4 era sticks which not only retain PS5 compatibility but also have much better form factor and modability potential. I would encourage people to start looking at those, or at least kicking in an extra $50 to their budget so that they could get a more robust stick and something a bit more deserving of the price. I look back at similarly priced sticks from the last generation. For around 25% more than the cost of this, you could have had yourself a Hori Fighting Edge or an Obsidian or a Pearl, and those were all great sticks. Maybe it's unfair to compare those, and times are indeed changing, but look at where the original drone price point was established. It sat in the sub $100 category at $79 for its lifespan, and at that price it was a fine entry-level stick that I was happy to recommend. Now, with the Drone 2, even adjusting for inflation, this thing is very overpriced from where I think it should be. The cost of this unit is low compared to other PS5 offerings, but I'm sad that this is the floor. Now, I don't want this review to feel completely critical. The lever felt okay, the matte finish doesn't pick up fingerprints, and the unit has that ever-alluring native PS5 compatibility. If the size appeals to you and price is your biggest concern in a Sony licensed 2023 issued fight stick, then this is for you. And it goes without saying, but if you like the first drone, then you'll likely enjoy this new version as well. If you can somehow get it for around $100 all in, this would be a fine stick. But unless you can get it marked down following a weekend tournament coupon code, I say keep looking. So, what do you think of my assessment? Was I overly harsh? Do you own this stick and so took my criticisms as an affront to you personally? Well, let me know in the comments where I can stick it. Hey, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I'd love if you drop a like and a sub to help me continue growing this channel so I can irritate even more people with my reviews. Hey, support your locals, and I'll see you next time.